Hello and welcome to Heart with Abagaba, the podcast where we celebrate the love, laughter, and little moments that make families shine. Whether you're a parent, grandparent, educator, or simply someone who believes in the magic of childhood, this is your place. Every week, we share real stories, inspiring voices, and joyful conversations that warm the heart and lift the spirit. So grab a cozy seat. It's time to go to Heart to Heart. Stop Smart sponsors Heart to Heart with Abagaba, your one-stop destination for staffing and non-medical concierge services for adults, teens, and children. For more information, visit www.staff-smart.org or call 480-875-6871. Welcome to Heart with Abagaba, the podcast where we celebrate families, honor the beauty of childhood, and lift the stories that connect us all. I'm your host, Abby Dominguez, and I'm so glad you're here. Each week, we open our hearts to voices that inspire, heal, and remind us what matters. Today's episode is no different. It's a tender, powerful, and uplifting conversation you won't want to miss. We are joined by a truly inspiring expert who plays a vital role in children's early development. Pediatric speech and language pathologist specializing in supporting babies and toddlers' foundational language skills. With a heart for families and a passion for communication, she helps parents better understand how to nurture language development from the early beginning. Whether it's those first clues, babbles, or early words, she's here to guide and empower. I'm so honored to welcome her to the podcast. Please join me in welcoming Jessie Kensey.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
You are so welcome. And Jessie, I'm reaching out to you from Mesa, Arizona. Please tell our listeners where we are connecting from and add a short bio.
Yeah, absolutely. So I live in Orange County, California. I am a pediatric speech therapist. I own a practice in Orange County. So we see lots of toddlers and kind of early elementary age kiddos here. And then I also have a parent coaching business that kind of expands throughout the US, which is cool. I am the boy mom of two boys. I have a 2-year-old and a 5-month old. So my world is busy and chaotic, and I am loving every minute of it.
Oh, that's so amazing. A 2-year-old and a 5-month-old. Oh my goodness, how so precious.
Yes, they are keeping me on my toes, that's for sure.
I have twin babies, and so I understand about keeping you on your toes. I totally get it. I wanted to ask you, what inspired you to create your courses for parents of babies and toddlers?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my business actually when my first son was born, and I started seeing clients through my therapy practice. And like I said, I see a lot of toddlers, so a lot of like 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, and I was seeing these toddlers that are just these really great toddlers. Like I
Oh,
work with just the best families and the best kids, and I see
oh,
these families that are trying so hard, and they're just like, Jesse, I don't know what to do. I'm
oh,
trying all of these things and it's not working, and my kiddo is not talking, and they're frustrated. And so I kind of started seeing a pattern of like, I would go in, I would teach these strategies, I would do therapy, and these kiddos would make great progress.
oh.
Um, which is awesome. But I realized, like, wait a second, I could teach parents these strategies way before they even need speech therapy.
Mm,
And then maybe they'll never need me. And that's kind of the goal. So that's why I started going into courses and coaching, because I was like, hey, I can teach parents, when their little one is a baby, or when
yes.
their little one is, 1 or 1.5, I can teach them strategies so that by the time they're 2, by the time they're 3, hopefully they don't even need speech services. And if they do, no big deal because speech is
Yeah.
great. But my goal is to just reduce the need for me by teaching families kind of what they can do instead.
That is so wonderful of you. So it gives parents and caregivers a tool under their belt before they even get to the, oh, what do I do? What is
Hmm.
he trying to say to me? I love that. So what are some common misconceptions parents have about speech development?
Yeah. So I think the biggest thing is it's just really hard to know. You talk to, other parents at the park, or you compare your little one to your neighbor's little one, and so one, I think that comparison can be really challenging. And so, um, it's important to understand really where our kiddos should be and
Mhm.
the difference between a milestone and an average. And I say this a lot because an average is what, like, yeah, like 50% of kids will be doing
Mhm.
at that time. But as long as your child is meeting their milestones, which are usually a little bit more attainable,
Yeah.
then they're doing just fine. So the first thing is really like understanding what that milestone looks like and like giving yourself and giving your kiddo some grace. Like kiddos learn at different paces.
Yeah.
You might have an early walker, but they might talk a little later, or it might be vice
Yes.
versa.
Hmm.
And that's totally okay. So just being aware of that. And then my other biggest misconception or thing that I see parents do, and it's really well-meaning, is that as their child gets to where they're like, okay, I'm kind of expecting them to start talking. I'm ready for them to start talking. I want to hear those words. We kind of start quizzing our toddlers. We're like,
Mm.
say this, what's
Right,
that?
right, right.
And it's really well-meaning because you want to hear those words, but it can actually put pressure on our toddlers and make it so
Mm.
that they don't really want to talk.
Mm. I love how you mentioned strategies that you can give to parents earlier. Can you explain the connection between early communication strategies and parenting speech delays?
Yeah, so definitely the earlier that you can use some of these strategies, and they're really simple strategies. I am a busy mom.
Mhm.
All of the moms I work with are so busy. Um, these strategies are things that you can kind of put into what you're already doing and just like make little tweaks.
Mhm.
And the nice thing is you can make them really early. You can start, with, I love to start with like early signs for babies,
Ooh,
and different strategies. Um, and the nice thing is it really helps you communicate with your baby and your toddler as early as possible so
yeah,
that you actually have less tantrums and less of that frustration because you're
yeah,
like, I don't know what they want and this is so frustrating. So the goal is to limit that as much as possible.
yeah.
Um, and then as your baby and your toddler, as they get older, then you guys already have this really strong communication. You know what to do to help your little one talk. Your little one knows that you're going to listen to them and respond to them. And that can just be a beautiful thing.
It is. I so support what you just said. I commend you for the great work that you're doing. What are some signs a toddler might need extra support, and when should parents seek help?
Ooh, yeah, that's a great question. So like I said, you want to just kind of look at those milestones. So milestones are if your little one is one, we want to see, a lot of good babbling, mama, mama, ma, ba, ba, ba. It doesn't have to all be really meaningful, but you want to
Yeah,
hear them babbling.
yeah.
And you want to hear at least one word. So one
Mm.
word is like mama, dada. Um, it can be a sign. So if they're signing more or all done, it can be an animal sound, but you want to hear at least one meaningful word around the age
Right,
of one.
right, right. I totally understand. I totally get it. It resonates with me. So, what does supporting a child's communication look like before they're even talking? I know you mentioned that. You can
Yeah.
speak about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So before they're ready to start talking, my favorite thing to do is, and I'm a huge proponent of teaching babies those early signs, those early communication. And I like to focus on functional language. So my favorite signs are, things like more, all done,
Yeah.
eat, milk, things that are really important
Right.
to our babies
Right.
and things that they
Right.
can use in multiple settings. So,
Right.
your baby can tell you more when you're playing. They can tell you more at a mealtime. They can tell you more when they're taking a bath and they don't want to get out.
Oh,
And so being able to sign, right? Because our little ones, they're getting ready to talk, but most of them aren't ready to talk yet.
yes.
Um,
Yeah.
but those motor skills are actually a lot easier for them, so they can usually sign earlier than they can talk. And so you just
Ah,
open up this like, oh, wait, I can communicate with my parents, right? I can communicate with the people around me before I can even talk. And that can be
ah,
so powerful.
I love that. So how can parents use daily routines like bedtime or
Yeah.
like medicine or playtime to encourage speech and language skills?
Yeah. So I think you can do pretty much any strategy that I would ever teach you during daily routines. This is not something where you need to set aside an hour to sit on the floor and play. Daily routines, just like what you were saying, like breakfast, bath time, diaper changes, those are the perfect times to work on language. So if it was bath time is a great one. I love to use like really simple 2 or 3 word phrases as often as I can. So if it's
Yeah.
bath time, I'm going to say, turn on water, turn off water, let's
Oh,
splash, wash hair. As we're washing body parts, I'm going to talk about them. Oh, wash my, elbow,
all
wash my
right.
hands, wash my knee. And so you get to just throw lots of language into that routine. And the nice thing is bath time happens all the time. And so it's
Yes.
like they get to hear these words not just maybe once a week. They get to hear them every single time they
Every
take a
single
bath,
time. Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And that's what makes it so powerful is you want them to hear the same words over and over and over again because that's what helps them stick for our babies and our toddlers.
Yes, yes. And I have to apologize. I meant to ask, I meant to say, how can parents use daily routines like mealtime, not medicine time? What was I thinking?
No, no
Oh
worries.
my goodness, medicine time. Who wants medicine time?
I mean, you know what? If your kiddo has like a vitamin or medicine, that's a perfect time. Um, but yes, like meal times, modeling, more, modeling all done, those signs or those words, talking about what's on their plate, talking about the food, um, setting them up to use some language. So at a mealtime, maybe you are like gonna open up like a yogurt container, right?
Right.
But instead of opening it, you actually just hand it to them closed. And you
Ah,
know that they can't open it, right? And you just kind of hand it to them and you just wait. And that gives them the perfect opportunity to either like hand
ah.
it back to you and give you a look like mom, or, maybe they're going to say open, maybe they're going to say help. And so just setting up those little moments can be really, really helpful.
Oh, I just love that. So, what are some signs a toddler might need extra support? And when should parents seek help?
Yeah. So as your little one, I would say a lot of the signs kind of happen between 1 and 2 years old. But if it's not in that realm, that's okay. But around 1 to 2 years old, you're gonna notice like, hey, you know what? It seems like my toddler isn't really understanding what I'm saying to them. Um, and also they're really just not babbling or talking a lot. So we do want to see progression from 1 to 2 because there's a
Yeah.
big jump. From one, we want to see 1 word. By two, we want to see about 50 words. And that's a
Word.
lot of words.
Wow.
And so if you don't start seeing that growth, if you don't start seeing like, hey, they're understanding what I'm saying pretty well. Oh, hey, they're babbling. Oh, they're kind of starting to imitate what I'm saying. Um, those are kind of signs that, hey, you know what, my kiddo might need more help. If your toddler is in that 2 to 3 range,
Mhm.
if they're not using, 50 words or more, um, then I would, definitely just the best place to start is just talk to your pediatrician. If you have any
Right.
concerns, talk to them. They're the best, kind of start.
Mhm. Good information. Why is baby sign language such a powerful tool for early communication?
Yeah. So I know I touched on this a little bit, but I
Yeah,
really think it teaches you as a parent, because I know for me this was really big. It teaches me um how to kind of communicate in a way that my baby is able to understand and start using before they're
yeah,
ready for words. So it was able to cut down on a lot of that frustration. I
yeah.
knew, when my son wanted milk or wanted more before he could tell me those things or wanted all done, if he was in his high chair, he was done. Instead of like throwing the food on the floor or crying, he could just tell me all done and he
Oh,
could sign it.
done. Yeah. That's
And so I think it teaches you some of those strategies of like, hey, I know that I have this skill and I can show it to my baby and it's going to help us communicate better.
I love that. I keep thinking about this, like giving them, how do you say it? You say it so well. Giving them a tool so before they even start talking,
Hmm.
they can, that is so profound. And I just keep thinking about that. It's just resonates. Like it makes perfect sense.
Hmm. Yeah,
Wow.
I think once you try it and you see it start working, and the thing is, it doesn't work the first time, it doesn't work the second time. It probably works like somewhere between 50 to 100 times. It takes a lot
Hmm.
for our little ones. So
It
none of these
does.
are like a quick fix or a quick
Right, right.
um but when you start seeing it, it's just so powerful. And I remember
Mhm.
my 2-year-old when he started signing, before he turned one, he would make me laugh. He would get right up in my face, like eye to eye, really close, and he would sign. Like he knew it held so much meaning, and he wanted to make sure that I was not missing it. And that's exactly what you want, because then they realize like, wow, this communication is so powerful. Now I want to talk because like,
Oh,
look, this is so powerful, and I get to talk. And so it's really cool to see.
like I get to be understood, like they understand me, my wants, my needs. Awesome.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
so amazing. So, what advice do you have for parents who feel overwhelmed or unsure if they're doing enough? Wait, hold on. Let me just rephrase this. What
Yeah.
advice do you have for parents who feel overwhelmed or unsure if they're doing enough?
Yeah. Well, one is if you are thinking those thoughts, then you are doing a great job already. I can tell you that.
Oh,
I think it is so overwhelming. There are so many things as parents that, we feel like at the end of the night, I'm just sitting here like, did I feed my kiddo enough vegetables? Did I do this? Did I do that? Um, And so, one, you already are doing enough. And two, if you're not sure, then there are really great resources. I have an Instagram account and I know a couple other amazing speech pathologists that share tips and strategies. So there's people that you can go to get really great actionable steps.
mhm.
And then if you're ever really not sure, if you're like, you know what, I'm about to go down a Google rabbit hole, the best thing is just talk to your kiddo's pediatrician.
Yeah,
They can kind of help answer questions. They can put your mind at ease, or they can point you in the right direction if your kid does need, more support.
wonderful. Can you share a success story from a family you've worked with that really stuck with you?
Yeah. So I know I touched on this a little bit, but the whole reason I created courses, and I
Mhm.
have a baby sign language or baby signs course, and then I have a course for more late talkers to really teach parents the strategies. But the reason that I actually did those is I had one kiddo, and I remember it so vividly. I had
Mhm.
worked with him and his mom for 6 months, and I just fell in love with this family.
Oh,
And at the end of it, when they're exiting from speech, I usually will bring a little gift. It's a little party, they're exiting. It's great. It's exciting. I gave him that gift and I was walking back and I sat in my car and it was summer, so it was super hot. And I'm sitting in my car and I'm like, wow, if I had like taught them these strategies, they never would have needed me because at this point, this, it had been 6 months of therapy. He was
uh-huh.
about to turn 3. And he was talking so much. And he
Oh,
was telling me that he wanted a new bed, a bunk bed, and he was telling me what he did that weekend. And he was telling me, he was telling me what toys he wanted and what activities he wanted to do during
Oh,
speech. Um, and just to be able to go from a toddler who had really no words and was pretty frustrated
oh, mm-hmm.
to being able to tell me he wanted a bunk bed so he could sleep in it with his brother,
Oh,
like was such a huge win.
oh,
Um, and I luckily I get to have so many experiences like that. But that one just really that
yeah.
one kiddo exiting, and he was one of my first clients when I opened my own practice, and it just has really stuck with me.
Oh, that's a beautiful story. Thanks for sharing that. What are small, actionable thing a parent could do today to support their child's language development?
Yeah, there's a few, and I'm trying to think of which one would be the best. So, um, my favorite thing
Mhm.
is to model language.
Oh,
Some parents are already just naturally kind of chattier, I will say. Like some parents I notice do just naturally talk to their child throughout the day, and
uh-huh.
some parents are a little bit quieter. And it's
Right.
just personalities. But
Hmm.
the best thing that you can do is throughout your toddler's day, throughout your baby's day,
Hmm.
you want to be talking to them.
Oh,
And you want to talk to them in short, simple phrases.
okay.
So it can be, and it doesn't have to be all day long, and it doesn't have to be, this perfect play scenario. It can be, your toddler hanging out with you while you're doing the dishes and you're
Uh-huh.
saying, wash dishes,
Just,
put in all clean. And you're just, oh, this is the plate. You're giving them the language
hmm.
that they can eventually start to use. So,
Oh,
talking about what you're doing, what your baby's doing, and doing it in 2 to 3 word phrases whenever you
hmm.
I mean, it's probably the one thing that can make the biggest impact.
Ooh, that is so fabulous. So, is it okay? Is it okay to when a child's like when they say dada, mama, papa, or like,
Mhm.
is it okay to repeat those words or
Mm,
give them new words? Like give them or just like maybe talk to them or like what's the best insight on
yeah, I love repeating what our babies say. When they're really little, so my 5 month old already will kind of coo and babble. Um,
oh
and I will say exactly what he says. And
oh
so if he kind of coos, I will coo, and it sounds silly, but it works because
oh
then he'll do it again and then I'll do it again.
oh
And that goes the same for babbling. So when our babies start babbling, they're saying ba 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 ma ma ma.
Mhm,
Absolutely.
mhm.
You echo that back. And then when
Oh
they become toddlers and they say a
oh
word, you saying it back. I know it would feel weird to do this with an adult, but for a toddler that's just learning, if they say mama and you're like, yes, mama, that is really
oh
validating for them. So
oh
do it. Absolutely. And it also helps them learn how to say their sound. So you kind of get that extra bonus. So like my kiddo,
uh-huh
he doesn't say banana, he says nana, right? He makes
oh
it easier. So if he says nana, I'm going to say banana. Oh yeah, it's a banana.
right right.
Repeating that back is great. It's such a great tool. It's such a great habit to get into. And it really just shows them, like, hey, I'm listening. I understood you. And sometimes also, like, hey, here's how you could say that word a little bit clearer next time.
Oh, that was amazing, Jessie. Thank you so much for sharing your heart, wisdom, and helpful insights today. It's such a gift to
Thank
hear.
you.
Oh, it's such a gift to hear from someone who understands the science behind early communication and honors the everyday moments that shape a child's world. For all the parents listening, whether you're celebrating your baby's first babble or encouraging your toddler to find their first words, know that you're doing a meaningful work every single day. We hope this conversation leaves you feeling more confident, connected, and inspired on your journey. Jesse, do you have any final insights for us? And do you want to share your social media handles, your website, all the good stuff that you want us to know?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I just want to say thank you. This is what I love to talk about. So any chance I have to get to come on and talk about speech and toddlers, and
Yes,
I love it. It's so
yeah.
fun. Yes, so you can follow me. I'm on Instagram. It's going to be simply speech underscore. My website is simplyspeechtherapy.org. And I actually just started a new Facebook group. It's really just to get extra support. It's completely free. It's Baby and Toddler Talk. So if you
Ooh.
want a little bit more support, you can join me on Facebook as well. So there's a few ways. I share lots of simple strategies. You'll see lots of videos of my babies. They're
Aw.
the perfect examples. So go follow me there.
I will follow you. Jessie, I can't even tell you how I was so excited to have you on today because I have 1 year olds and
Mm,
I'm on that journey. And it seems like I forgot everything that I know and I'm relearning because every child is different. And so I want to, find their strength and help them and meet them where they're at. So I have been enlightened. Like I have a lot to take away as well today.
I'm so glad.
And have a fantastic day. And as always, thank you for joining us here on Heart to Heart with Abagaba. Until next time, keep cherishing those small moments. They are the ones that truly matter. Aspire Behavior Health also sponsors Heart to Heart with Abagaba. They offer monitoring, counseling, medication, and personal care services in a beautiful residential setting. Contact aspirecbh at outlook.com or call 480-875-6871. Thank you for joining us for another heart to heart moment. I hope today's story touched your heart the way it touched mine. If this episode spoke to you, share it with someone you love. And don't forget to subscribe to this and our YouTube channel so you never miss the moment of connection, inspiration, and joy. The stories and insights shared on Heart to Heart with Abagaba are personal and based on lived experiences. While some of our guests may be licensed professionals in their fields, the content of this podcast should not be considered legal, medical, or mental health advice. For expert guidance, please consult a qualified professional directly. Until next time, take care of your heart, take care of each other, and keep celebrating the love that makes us family. Celebrate!